My advisory role at NIAC, which I used to have, is because I am an expert on religion and politics. So I advise the Plowshares Fund. I advise NIAC. I advise the fucking State Department. I advise actual Congress people who are making these decisions about what to do with Iran. I'm an expert in Iran, so I advise those groups. I have no loyalty or membership to NIAC. I'm not here to speak for NIAC.
To be fair, you don't advise the other side, though. You're strictly advising the progressive side. You're not advising
100%,
which they support the nuclear deal, which you support as well.
100% support the nuclear deal.
So you support negotiating with a nation that says "Mark bar America," death upon America. You're comfortable negotiating with a country that hates.
In today's video, Reza Aslan absolutely goes off on Patrick Bet-David in a heated debate over U.S. foreign policy and Iran. This back and forth gets intense as Reza Aslan calmly but confidently dismantles the talking points of Patrick Bet-David, exposing how surface-level arguments just don't hold up under pressure. Let's watch how Reza Aslan destroys Patrick Bet-David in this must-see political debate.
I'm sorry, who do we negotiate? We only negotiate with countries that love us? Is that how negotiations work? Have you heard of the phrase diplomacy?
But diplomacy,
there is no negotiation with a country that actually agrees with you. We negotiate with countries that disagree with us.
I totally get that. But for the most part, the countries we negotiate with that disagree with us, they don't say death upon Americans. Iran says death upon Americans, the top of the Iran. This is not even the people in the streets.
Who gives a fuck? So what?
So give $150 billion? That's a valid concern. That's a valid question.
First of all, it's their money that we are releasing in exchange for removing nuclear weapons from Iran. How do you suggest we remove nuclear weapons from Iran, Patrick?
Okay, I have ideas for you. I can give it to you. Not to remove nuclear weapons. First of all, do you believe no matter whether we give them the money or not, they're not going to continue working on nuclear weapons?
They literally didn't. But, hold on. Nope. We're not going to move past this until we establish the facts. The JCPOA, which was negotiated by the United States, Russia, China, the Security Council, and Germany, which is extraordinary. The idea that those 5 countries came together and the European Union and agreed on anything, let alone agreed on this absolutely remarkable deal under the Obama administration to remove all the enriched uranium out of Iran. There is zero doubt that that worked. Zero. The IAEA came out in no uncertain terms and said, within 12 months of that deal being put in place, Iran no longer had the enriched uranium to create a nuclear bomb. Within 12 months...
You have to be naive to believe that.
Okay.
You have to be,
right.
but fair enough. Let's buy into the naivete and move forward.
Okay,
let's just say you're right. Let's say you're right.
Let's not believe the people on the ground who are actually monitoring the nuclear plants.
To believe somebody that believes in the values that they do, yes, I don't believe that.
Reza Aslan just broke down exactly how the Iran nuclear deal was enforced, not by trust, but through international oversight. The uranium wasn't just promised away. It was physically removed from Iran, and inspectors from the IAEA were on site constantly checking compliance. These weren't U.S. inspectors either. They were global, neutral, and technical. Patrick Bet-David doesn't address any of that. He questions the deal like it's a matter of opinion, but offers no facts in return. And here's the thing. The IAEA didn't suggest Iran followed the deal. They confirmed it multiple times in official reports. You can disagree with the politics, sure, but denying the results just doesn't hold up.
You would have chosen to come to...
I think you've got a nostalgia for the days of the Shah.
I don't have a nostalgia.
Me a lot of like Make America Great Again.
But this to me takes you back to why NIAC gets the criticism that it does. Because for you, you're saying give $150 billion to those guys, to Iran. It's their money. It's their money anyway. But you're saying it's their money anyways.
No, you're putting words in my mouth.
Begu.
We have 2 options with Iran's nuclear program. 2 options and nothing else. 2 options, period.
We have a third option.
What's the third option?
I'll give you the third option.
Option 1, we blow the shit out of it.
Okay.
Option 2, we use negotiation and diplomacy. What's your third option?
Very simple. It's very simple what you do with option 3. Option 3 is the same exact thing that happened in different nations. Iran is going through a potential revolution today.
Hold on. I want to make it clear.
Please.
I am talking about 2012. I am not talking about 2022. I have never said we should renegotiate the nuclear program now. You're asking me, did I support the JCPOA
versus today?
Today, there's no country to negotiate.
Let me tell you.
But let me make sure
I'm glad you
before
clarified
Twitter
that.
loses its fucking mind.
I'm glad you clarified that.
I am not saying
Fair.
that
You're
we
going back
should
10
be
years.
negotiating
Fair.
now.
So then,
was it right in 2012? 100%.
let me make my
right.
point. Let me make my point on what I'm thinking, and I want to hear your rebuttal on this and your argument on this. For me, it's the following. Have you heard of John Perkins, the economic hitman guy, the author? He's a hardcore progressive. Very, very interesting guy. I had him on 2 times. I really like talking to that guy. And it's very interesting, his arguments, what they did, to cause nations to go down. Do you think the current model and the government today in Iran is good for its people and good for the world?
Fuck no.
Okay, fair. We're on the same page. So is it fair to say that if we can figure out a way to help the Iranian people, not the government, the Iranian people to cause a fall in Iran, that's probably a good, noble thing for us to do?
That has been my goal for 20 years.
Fantastic. Then if doing that, your mission of wanting to do that, which NIAC's mission is for the people, policy to help with the people, that doesn't align with the rulers and the president and the people that run Iran. You guys don't share a common value.
You disagree. You're wrong. You're absolutely
wrong. So
wrong.
you're telling me the foreign minister Javad Zarif, like you're saying his ideal situation is to bring democracy to Iran?
No. What you're saying is, can we pursue policies in the United States to help the people of Iran? And have we been? My answer is we have not been. We have not. 40 years of blanket sanctions has not helped the people of Iran.
You know what won't take 40 years though? Hitting that like and subscribe button. So make sure to go hit it. It really helps the channel a lot.
It has only entrenched the government further, and there's reams of academic data that indicates that. The question is, does the, for instance, nuclear deal, the JCPOA in 2012, would that have helped the government or the people? And there is very good, real, meaningful arguments to be made that it would only help the government. I disagree, because there are much better arguments that it would only help people. Why? Goes back to your God, capitalism, the free market. The Iranian people live in an oppressive, murderous, theocratic regime. And as a part of American policy, we have decided that we're going to blanket sanction everyone in the hopes that eventually they'll rise up and take down their government.
No.
4 decades. 4 decades we've been doing that.
Patrick Bet David leans into the $150 billion talking point like it's some kind of gotcha, but Reza Aslan hits him with the actual breakdown. That money didn't come from US taxpayers. It was Iran's own assets, frozen under sanctions and released as part of the deal. The funds were unblocked in exchange for Iran following strict nuclear conditions. That's not a giveaway, that's leverage. Patrick doesn't push back with details, he just repeats the headline. But Reza forces the conversation back to facts, what the money was, where it came from, and why it mattered. If you're going to argue about policy, you can't skip the part where you explain the terms. And Patrick doesn't do that here.
So if I negotiate with a murderer, you think he's accustomed to following the rules? If I negotiate with a nation, with a government like theirs, you think they follow what's in the contracts? There's
simple.
No way you believe that.
I understand that you have this mystical view of what the Iranian government is that exists in this kind of existential
I just
plane
listen
of
to what
evil.
they say. No, I just listen to what they say.
But
You
they
don't
are
think they're
actual
evil.
people who care about their own livelihood and they care about nothing else.
I do think they care about their livelihood. The government people care about their wealth. I do agree with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm talking about its people. That's what I'm talking about.
And what I'm saying is, right now, we have nothing but the stick. We have no carrot at all in Iran. There's nothing the United States
You're giving carrot to the wrong guy. You're giving carrot to the guy that's got plenty of carrots. He's been overdosing on carrot.
We're giving carrot to the economy.
No, you're not giving a carrot to the economy.
Here's how interdependent
I'm a Syrian Armenian. I'm a Syrian and Armenian. Let me tell you what both sides will say. You ready? Here's a criticism. Both sides will say. And I want to wrap it up. We'll go off. If you're up for part 2, 3 hours, I'm up for bringing you back. You have no idea how much I've enjoyed it. I'm being serious with you.
I'm being serious.
Okay. So I'll tell you this. Armenian Assyrian. Bet David, Bogosian. Bet David, Assyrian, Bogosian, Armeni. Okay? You know, every time when people say, hey, let me tell you what's going on. Send money to this charity. Send money to go help the Assyrians. How come you're not giving money here? And I'll send money. You know what both sides of my family will say? Never send money. You know why?
Because it goes to the wrong people.
Because it never goes to its people.
Yes.
You said it. You know this reputation. So if you and I are giving money, 150 billion to the government, we have to be naive to believe it's going to end up to its people. That's what I'm saying.
It's not going to end up to its people, and that's the
we're strengthening
JCPOA,
them.
It's something different.
Okay, anyway.
But hold on. I need to say one last thing, because if you probably know anything about me, you know that I get cut up and re-edited, and there's an entire industry online meant to make me look in a certain way.
That's not us. We don't do that.
I want to say something. I want to say a final word here, because it's very important.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this final word will make it. I have absolutely nothing but loathing for the Iranian government, for the Islamic Republic. It is a murderous, terroristic regime that slaughters its own children. It has no legitimacy whatsoever. It belongs in the dustbin of history. The only proper response of this current revolution, and it is a revolution, is not for reform. It's not for a little bit more rights. It's to burn the whole thing down and start all over again, and I wholeheartedly support that. The question is, how do we empower those young people? How do we give them the tools necessary in order to burn it down?
Okay.
Reza Aslan ends it with clarity: no defense of the Iranian regime, no middle ground. He calls it what it is, a brutal theocracy that needs to fall. But the key point here is what he says next. It's not just about opposing the regime. It's about asking how we actually support the people living under it. Sanctions haven't worked. They've made things worse for ordinary Iranians, while the regime holds on tighter. And Patrick Bet-David doesn't offer much in response. He shifts the focus to charity corruption stories. But that's not a strategy. That's a distraction. Reza brought history, policy, and lived reality into this conversation. Patrick brought slogans. That's the difference. Honestly, whether you agree with Reza or not, the way he handled this shows why actual experience matters in these debates. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Who made the stronger case and why? If you're into straight talk and real breakdowns like this, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.